Stratus 4?
I think this is a great project for schools to do. It's a really good way of getting young students interested in space topics and maths, science, all of the good things that you can come up with.
History of the Stratus project at this school?
I can't remember, to be honest. I've been involved in all your Stratus projects. The initial one we did, Stratus 1, I think we lost for several months. It went up, we lost contact with it. We knew approximately where it had landed, but it was found several weeks or months later by somebody and rang the school. I can't remember the second one. The last one that we did, we launched a paper plane off of the balloon and got some lovely footage of it falling away from the holder, and we then tracked the balloon payload and the aeroplane to different places and went and recovered them. Great fun.
So with the balloon, what type of balloon are we going to use to get Stratus 4 up into the atmosphere?
We're using a 1600 gram Chinese balloon, latex balloon. It's got probably the best performance that you seem to get out of balloons. It's the one that's known to go the highest for very light payloads anyway. So it's going to get as high as we can.
How high are we expecting to go with Stratus 4?
I'm expecting to get to at least 40 kilometres with it, probably higher. And that's around about 132,000 feet at least. So very high up, much higher than aeroplanes, 3 or 4 times higher than aeroplanes go.
And how long is it going to take to get up there and back down again?
It should take a little bit over 2 hours to get up to that sort of altitude. And then the payload sort of parachuting down will take probably around about 3/4 of an hour. The paper plane could take a lot longer. It certainly did on Stratus 3 because it sort of flew quite a long way across the country and at quite a slow descent rate. So possibly an hour and a bit to get back down.
So how long is it going to be expected to find it? Will it vary on where it lands?
Yeah, it very much depends on which part of the country it lands in and how easy it is to get to that. It can be very simple. It could land by the side of a little track somewhere where we can get to it, or it could be in a piece of land that you might not be able to get to for a couple of days. I've had that happen.
So what are we improving from Stratus 1, 2 and 3 this time?
Well, Stratus, certainly the improvement for the paper plane from Stratus 3 is that we're intending to go a lot higher. Last time we couldn't go as high as the balloon bursting because the idea was to detach the paper plane before the balloon burst, so we could film it dropping away. This time we've got the camera on the paper plane itself, so we can get that sort of view from the paper plane all the way up and all the way back down again.
So with the camera, what are we actually hoping to see on Stratus 4?
Well, I'm hoping you'll obviously see the ground disappearing as it gets higher, getting wider and wider view, just typically like you get with a high altitude balloon flight. But on the way down, I'm hoping to see periods when the plane is sort of gliding through the air, and you get a nice sort of smooth image of this sort of gliding action.
When are we going to launch it, and where will it be?
Well, that's a little bit up to you guys really as to when we launch it. When it's all ready, I think. Ideally a little bit more towards the summer months because at the moment it's January, so it's a bit wet and windy, but later on, perhaps when we get to about March, April time, the weather starts to improve, and that's probably when we'll try and launch it.
Does the weather have a difference in the performance?
Not really a difference to performance. It's just that if it's windy, it's quite difficult to launch the balloon sometimes, and if it's rainy, you don't really want the rain landing on it. But other than that, it's not you can launch it most times. We have to wait for a day when the wind take the balloon and its payloads in a direction that will make sure it lands back on land.